Hello everybody, welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom. This is Havoc, and we are back in our park for episode 2. To recap, if you missed the last episode, we started our new park, and I have to say, I am actually rather pleased with how well it's going so far. Have a gorgeous looking entrance right here at the beginning, and you'll notice, if you were here for the last episode, that this has changed a little bit, and the reason for that is mainly I didn't put all that much effort into it, and I'll be completely honest. I was a little bit razzled when I did my first episode, and I kind of wanted to get it off of its feet on the right foot, and so I didn't give it my best, and for that I apologize. But I did come in and I did revamp some things and make things look a little bit better. At one point I thought about joining these two. They did not like that idea, so we put everything back together. Overall, it's not bad. It's not fantastic, but it's certainly not terrible. But today, guys, we have a few updates. First and foremost being, I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that I was concerned about as I was building my first part of my park was that the modular prefabs didn't have all of these guys, which is in large part why we did this. I was not expecting to do this. I was expecting to do, the prefabs, because let's be frank, if I built every single one of these buildings by hand, we would be here for ages and ages, and I don't have that kind of time on my hands, I'm not gonna lie. What it comes to find out, if you do this, this is the modern theme, and I didn't know that. So what I had to do is I had to go into here, because we are under the tropical theme, which does have a lot of good things, but the modern theme has all the prefabricated restaurants and things of that nature that I was looking for. So I had to research that, and as you can see, I don't have a ton of money because of it. It's like a $600,000 or $700,000 investment, and because we're in challenge mode, which is essentially career mode, I had to eat that cost, which isn't a problem. We'll be okay. Worst comes to worst, we'll take out a loan. I'm not a fan of it, but whatever. And also, I did try this right here. This was a suggestion to try and put the solar panels on top of the restaurants, and it turns out it does work. But here's the kicker. Today, we're doing some reconstruction already, because now that I have those prefabs, these guys have served their purpose. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this entrance region. I think we could do some cool things, but for what we're going to do today anyways, we are going to create our restaurant space. This is a perfect place for it. We're close to the river. We're close to where some intersections are going to be that might expand into the future park. Over here isn't bad, but I just feel like this is a really good spot to kind of plop down our food court. Well, yeah, it kind of does need to be a little bit of a centerpiece. I don't want it to be the centerpiece, but I think it makes sense to put that here. And we do have a lot of different restaurants. We have lots of restaurants to choose from, big and small. So I think what we're gonna do is the big major themed ones we are gonna put on here, and then scattered throughout we're gonna have little pockets of the smaller kiosks, just so that people can actually eat and drink and have fun times while they're touring. Yes, I said touring because that's an inside joke to my wife and I say touring because I'm from the southern United States, so she'll appreciate that. Though she'll never know because she didn't watch. Anyways, diversion. We're going to definitely plop some really cool things down here. And much like with the last park, there is too much empty space on these buildings, and I don't like it. We are all about creating condensed spaces, I think. And by condensed spaces, I mean utilizing all the footage that we can. So we have this big thing here, which is awesome. But what if we were able to put some plants on top? Or what if we were able to create a little walkway between two different areas? Maybe even a walkway so you can kind of see this guy while you're eating your burger or something like that. There's, like this, probably not. But this has a lot of space. This guy has a ton of space. And while I don't want to recreate exactly the things that I did in the other park, I do think it's cool to bring that aspect into it, to kind of combine them. If you're familiar with the last series, then you'll be like, oh hey, I know what he's kind of going to be going on about. So anyways, that's what we're here to do today. We're here to create and flesh this out. We may get into another exhibit. Again, I will start doing some voiceover for that. I have a really cool idea in mind, but I want to surprise you with it. But hopefully the guy who I'm going to reach out to would be more than willing to help out. It should be really, really cool. But anyways, we're not going to get to that today. We may have our, oh goodness, how do you say it? The Coelophysis, I think that's what it is. The Coelophysis, we may put in an exhibit that goes right along here. Again, some of the more chill things, just so we get another variation of dinosaurs. But I've been chatting for well longer than I should have. I've outstayed my welcome. So we're going to hit timeline mode, and in timeline mode, we're going to flesh out this restaurant, touristy gift shop area, and hopefully it looks really good. And Timeline Havoc here. Welcome everybody to the food court section. This is quite the exciting build. But to be quite honest, I had no idea what I was going for here. I know I wanted to try and create a theme for the park, but I honestly don't know that a theme like this is going to happen. And it's simply because there are some limitations to my creative mind, I'm not gonna lie. So what you're gonna see here at first is me sort of experimenting and trying to create this main restaurant that does look a little more, you know, Costa Rica themed. But the more that I dug into it, the more that I realized I just don't feel like it fits. It doesn't fit me, it doesn't fit the park right now. Maybe in the future, I'll do a big overhaul. But what I did know for sure is that I wanted the bigger major restaurants in, and I wanted it to fit into the sidewalk or, you know, pedestrian pathways as much as possible. I wanted a lot of storefronts at the very front, and I wanted an eating center in the back, but I still didn't know how I was going to accomplish it. So there's a lot of experimentation that's going to happen in this first part, and you'll see me building roads, you'll see me deleting them, adjusting new things, all of that sort of stuff, because again, I had something in mind, but I honestly had no clue. And honestly, this is one of the parts that I'm pretty proud of, is the seating area, because this is a really, really nice plaza. This Plaza 3, I think it is, something like that. And it gives a lot of seating room, a lot of shade, which is something that I find very important in parks. And it also had bathrooms, which we're going to actually end up deleting them. You'll see here in a second, because it created too much space. And I thought it would be weird to have 3 sets of eating areas that all had their own individual bathrooms. To me, that's just a little bit bizarre. Maybe as we, you know, explore different parts of the park and put up these plazas, the bathrooms will make more sense. But regardless, you can see where things started to really click, because before there was a lot of mayhem, a lot of readjusting and moving things around. But here we have some movement, but it's a little more refined, I guess you could say. We got things on track a little bit more. So we're going to keep with these curved road themes, because I just really like, I like smooth roadways. I don't like janky 90-degree angles everywhere. So we're not going to worry about that anymore. And then, of course, in my OCD-ness, I jokingly say that, but it was trying to create pathways between everything. And I decided I don't have to have a pathway connecting everything. In fact, I can actually have some pretty cool water features, and then vegetation is going to kick in here in just a little bit. But you'll see me do this throughout the entire build, is knock out all those sidewalks, because those sidewalks don't jive with my sidewalk and pedestrian pathways. I want to pause here just really quick to say that my bathrooms, this is my vegetation bathrooms over here, and they actually were able to make it. I was able to upload them as an actual asset. They're not going to fit where I want to for this part of the park, but we're definitely going to implement the previous bathrooms that I made, my vegetation bathroom, so that's going to be pretty fun. But for now, we're just going to keep to some standard things to make life just a little bit easier for me to work with right here. Again, not everything can be custom built, but you're going to see a little bit of that later on in this episode anyways. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we're going to start working on integrating solar panels into the tops of buildings where it makes sense. So it's all going to work out really nicely. Some more water features and vegetation added in. Again, I want this to be super integrated. I want it to look and feel natural, like a place that most people would go to if they went to a food court at a zoo or a park. Some place where they can sit back, relax, enjoy some things, have the kids go look at the, all the little smaller dinosaurs, the things. It's like, honey, just go over there, just be careful, kind of a deal. That's kind of the mindset I had with this food court, and I think it turned out really, really well. We're going to see a rock feature right here at the end, which not coincidentally looks a little bit like an animal that has a little waterfall coming out of it. That was not intentional at all, but it kind of did work. And then adding, just rock features throughout. That's what I need to work on more. The little dinosaur there, I think, is just really cute. But anyways, I think it turned out great. You're going to hear me say the exact same thing in a second, so let's get right back to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. This actually turned out a lot more sophisticated than I thought it would, but at the same time, I really thoroughly enjoy how it evolved over time. Now, this isn't going to be the final iteration. I will let that be known, simply because, well, there's a lot to do. We can still add some things up here. We have plenty of space right here to create our form of ramp to have an overlook. And I do think a form of overlook is in the cards simply because we already have something like this. Let's see, let's dig through, where am I looking for? It's not going to be park infrastructure. Somewhere along here, we have almost like this section, right? Which, I'm not going to lie, if we just kind of extended that platform and made it a part of the actual, well, do something like this. Like, we could totally make this just an extension and have 2 observation decks right here, which would be really, really stinking cool. Or even have something like this. I mean, the possibilities are quite literally endless, but we do have a little bit of a problem. For one, I don't know if you saw during the time lapse, but we did have to take out a loan, and it appears that all of our services are going to heck. So we need to address this. We need to see what's going on. And management view. All right, we need a vast amount of resources. Okay. Well, we are still a little bit woozy. Now, we only have $442,000 left. I don't know how much a solar wind farm will generate for us. Or we could enlist a small wind farm, which I think would probably be pretty nice, pretty ideal. Let's go ahead and we're going to put this a little bit behind here, and we can definitely hide it. In fact, we could probably cheekily put something back here, but you know what? Maybe this is what I know what we're gonna do. We are going to do this, and we're gonna hide this in the future right here. I already have an idea. I already know exactly what it's going to take to make this work. We're going to have 2 of them. And the real question is that going to solve our problems? I don't know that it will. To be honest, we also don't really need a very big path here. And I would assume that we need to do something over here to connect it. No, maybe not. Okay, well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna save ourselves a little bit. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I do want to do that, and then come in here, forgetting that this makes already a group. There we go. Nope, that still doesn't solve it. How high of a deficit do we have inside of our Zero energy. That's the issue, is that we have zero energy being created. And I don't know what that means. I don't know why this is saying that there is no power. It could be that we need to not do this. We may have to go a little bit unrealistic at the moment, just for the sake of everything, and we're gonna put a couple of windmill farms, small wind farms over here. Okay, we're in the gold. We're in the gold now. Oh, we're not really in the gold. We are in the iffy. So let's put, let's see, no one sees behind here. So we're gonna drop that for now, and that should solve all of our power needs. Awesome, cool, fantastic, that's great. Okay, but anyways, back to what I was saying. I really enjoyed the look of this and how it turned out, and I'm sure Havoc Timelapse Havoc will say the same thing, because, well, he will address this later on as soon as the episode is over. But what I wanted was this really cool interactive park area. And I think we achieved that. Now, admittedly, this won't hold a ton of people. That's what, like, I'm going to say six per. So that's, 30, 60, 90-ish, a little over 100 guests. But again, the idea is to draw them in and have a really cool interactive experience, one that is a great deal immersive, and just really enjoy what we're looking at. And I think it's been accomplished. The people seem happy as sunset nears, and we'll definitely play around a little better with the waterfalls, but I think they look pretty darn snazzy too. Now, I would be amiss if well, we're gonna fast forward through day-night cycles. I can't control that, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna fast forward in time, which will help build up savings anyways, but we're gonna get back to a daytime scenario where we need to work on our next exhibit. So I'll see you in just a second. And it's a new day. Good morning, everyone in the park, all 128 of you. Now, as we talked about in the past, let's see, how do I take a look at all the dinosaurs that I have. So I have 8 of them at the moment. Unfortunately, I can't toggle habitats, which is a little bit of a bummer. Regardless, I think, let's see, where is there it is. That's our current genetics lab. And now we have here the Coelophysis. Hello, little one. How are you? Now, we don't have any of the other ones, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. They do have a high exhibit crowding factor, which means we could have several of these, should we choose to. Now, the kicker is that one, we need a strength 1 with 2.5 meters, so it's a little bit bigger in terms of a fence size. Minimum size is actually very small. They require a little bit of forest and water with a desert or coastal biome. These guys aren't that impressive, but in an effort to increase the reputation of our thing, we will have to... can I afford 4? I don't know that I can afford 4. Well, I already bought them, so we will afford 4. And how big is this enclosure? This enclosure is 1,010 meters squared. This one is 1,096. So we really don't need a large exhibit here, which is nice. That's very, very convenient. It's a matter of where do we put it, and we could put it right here, but I think it has to kind of be a continuation of this area. So hopefully we don't run out of money. If we do, then we are going to have to consider waiting and or taking out a second loan, which isn't ideal. I really don't want to be constantly going into debt. That's not my ideal scenario, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna do that. It doesn't need to be a very long one at all either. Now I know this is a little bit funky simply because it's gonna be rather basic because it doesn't need to be that big. But looking down, I think this is where an observation deck is going to be really, really crucial and highly sought after. Simply because it's a small creature, but since it is a meat eater, all those things we do have to take into consideration the needs of our people and whether or not they could essentially do well. All right, 4 animals are ready to release. Open the genetics lab, select all. We're gonna release 4 animals. Oh, they're actually a little bit bigger than I thought. Woo, look at you.
Coelophysis is
Coelophysis,
without a doubt the most iconic dinosaur of the Triassic period. Just like how many Hollywood icons have left their handprints behind in concrete at the famous Chinese theatre, many fossilized footprints known as grelata have been attributed to Coelophysis. It must have been quite a celebrity back in the day.
thank you very much, Nigel. I appreciate it. So we don't really have to go crazy with this guy. And in fact, just like the absolute most minimal amount of water appears to be all that we need to do. There we go. I mean, like, you can't even see that, which is fine. I don't have any issues with. Oh, nope, nope. Let's redo that. Still need to take some out. Nope, need to take some out, I said. There we go. All right, so what we're gonna do here, this is gonna be pure sand. All 100%. We're gonna spill out just a little bit, just to make sure that sand is really there and obvious. Now, we are gonna build a few little bumps in the road and stuff, as it were, just to create a little bit of a more dynamic area. Do these creatures even care about housing? I don't know that they care about housing, so we're not going to worry about that with the Coelophysis, which is fine by me. I'm totally okay with it. Now what we do need is we do need quote-unquote forest. So we have coastal and we have desert. We are going to roll with, there's our coastal, and our coastal, we are going to kind of focus more on, there we go. Oh, look at that. That actually looks really cool. We may peel back. There we go. Because, you know, there's definitely some coastal areas that are much more rocky than others. And so I feel that, like, this is probably a little more appropriate. Oh, I really like that, actually. That is working very well for me. And then we have the desert biome. And the desert biome is where I'm going to kind of bring in some of these smaller areas. You know, maybe just a singular device. Which, device, you know what I mean. A tree and stuff. Tropical desert. Brilliant. And we may even just use this for... bring in a couple of things like that that probably shouldn't take much for them. No, they're perfect like that. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, I do want to start integrating more scenery, and that scenery is things. Oh wow, I didn't realize all this was here. That's cool. We're gonna do rocks. Actually, okay, hold on. Let's just smooth this all out, right? Because, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty darn cool. Okay, and our forest is a little bit too much, so we're gonna delete that. There we go. It doesn't need much. It's a very easy animal to take care of. This needs to be meat. Cool, right? Because that's what they are. They are meat eaters. And then let's give them a blood pumpkin. That's what they can eat in front of the people, because I think they'd really, really enjoy that. So it looks like, boom, we have it. Now we need to duplicate this. As well as a donation box. Well, let's just do this. Where's my donation box? Come on. There we go. We can get a bigger donation box in the future. But we have the Coelophysis. Brilliant. Awesome. And there they are. And now I see why we needed a bigger thing. I thought that we were going to have much, much larger creatures. Or much smaller creatures. Oh, wow. He just kind of just glitched out there a little bit. Are there 4 of them? There are 4 of them. But look at that. It's just something simple. But it's still really enjoyable. And it should bring in just a few more people. And hopefully they'll enjoy the heck out of it. Our park management is going up a little bit. Animal diversity is where we are definitely seeing a hit. But regardless, it's all good. Enclosure 2. Fill that up. Now the real question is sustenance. What do they want? Because I feel like these guys aren't getting the things that they need. They want some coastal. They're a little crowded. I don't know what they need regarding subsistence. Oh, you're not supposed to be there. Whoops. Is there a loose thing going on here? Maybe not. Okay, I think we're okay. We're okay. All right, well, unfortunately, we had to terminate our first animal, which is a bit unfortunate. But look at these guys. They're pretty stinking cool. I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, we're actually doing pretty darn good. We are recovering. We had probably our largest profit margin in the last time. Creation did take a lot, I'm not gonna lie, but shopping, food and drink, they're a little bit down right now. But I don't see that as necessarily being a terrible, terrible thing, because I think we'll be able to start cranking more stuff up as I hit the hole. No worries. Sweet, we just hit a +1 rating. We're slowly gathering our way out. So I really don't want to keep going into debt. And I can't pay that off. We may have to take out a loan to put in another loan to pay off the other loan and worrying about loan central. So let's do that. This is something I'm not going to repeatedly do because I don't approve of, I should have a self-sustainable park is the long and short of it. So that's what we're doing. That's what I want to do anyways, and I think it's pretty darn important to consider. Now, I think we do have enough time because we should be ballpark. Yeah, let's build our observation deck up here. What do you guys say? Huh? What do you say? I think we're going to do it because I do believe that this is a very important thing to bring about. Now, we may have to take out that guy, and we may be in for another short little time lapse because let's face it, you're not going to want me to do this step by step. It was a long process with the last guy, and I can't see it being any shorter of a process simply because of where we're at. So we'll do a little bit of a time lapse for now, simply to cater to all the things, and it probably will go into nighttime. It's not something I want to worry about at the moment. We're just going to put these guys down right here to cover the bathroom. That's all. Getting right back into it. Timeline Havoc back once again. And one thing I wanted to say right off the bat is, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but we have definitely modified this building before. In our first campaign, we did the loft, which actually turned out really, really cool. But I wanted to do something different. I don't like doing the same things twice. So what we're going to do here is create something that is both accessible for anyone in a wheelchair or anything like that, as well as people who can take the stairs. I really want to make this park as accessible as possible. And to me, it wasn't necessarily that fair to limit the observation deck to people who can't walk upstairs. I mean, to me, that just isn't fair. There's going to be children that want to get a good view of the, what is it called? The Cephalosaurus? Coelophysis? That's what Coelophysis. Or, you know, the Protoceratops. Like all those things. Like I feel like we need to have a ramp and make that part accessible. Now, I will say I didn't get to everything that I wanted to. It was a little more complicated making everything that I needed to make for this section here. There's a lot going on, and I wanted to find ways that wasn't just walling things up. Again, focus on that natural feature, make it look good, but also not just have boring railing. And so for here, you're going to get a little rock formation that I'm going to use to build up that wall, simply because I just think it looks good. I think if you can make things look natural like they belong, people know that there aren't natural rock formations that align with the stairs. But again, this is where prefabs are coming in and doing great things for me. That just looks cool, and that's kind of the vibe I want to go. I just want things to look cool, to people be like, oh wow, I didn't think about making rails out of rocks. You know what I mean? And so we're going to wrap up this little last part by actually building rails, because there wasn't enough space to create a rock formation and make it look natural. And then of course we had to worry about the ramps. Overall, I'm not disappointed with the amount of work I got done. It was just, again, life, as you're about to hear, kind of got in the way before I could finish the build. And that's okay. I'm not stressing about this. I'm not upset of anything that happened. Again, I want to create a chill experience for both myself and for anyone watching. So I'm never going to be like, oh, I wish I could have spent another hour on this. It is what it is. And if it means a shorter episode, then it means a shorter episode. But regardless, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching these time lapses and watching the park develop as it has. And I'll let regular Havoc come back in to wrap the episode up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, the time lapse has stopped, and obviously I don't have an observation deck, but in the real world, it is time for me to be done. Simply, wife and 3 kids, and they need me. And so I'm not going to return back in a different time because, well, things might be a little bit off. So we are going to end the episode right there. Now, our plans so far is to make it, again, an accessible area. So that's why I kind of have the 2 steps. So that way you have a singular area, and then if someone wants to run up small steps, or if they want to go up the ramp because that's what they need to do to access the observation deck, then so be it. But as I mentioned, I want to make it very clear, we are going to probably put this one, just because I like how it looks. And again, you know, we're gonna probably just drop it right like this, add some cool things to it, and just make it just a really cool, I don't know, this one looks pretty sweet as well. We'll have to figure it out. But ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for having to bounce before we are completely ready to show this off. But that is the way of things, and it will always be the way of things here on this channel. So I do appreciate your support. I thank you so much for all the suggestions as well. We are doing okay, and by okay, I of course, what is this? I don't understand why they're saying they're still hungry. I need to find out what they need to eat, and then we'll figure that out in the future. But guys, the observation deck will come, and we will work on expanding, based on our revenue, the types of dinosaurs that we're going to bring into here. But overall, I think this has been a pretty successful day, and I am excited to see where it goes. I don't feel like I'm being over ambitious at the moment. This was a bigger project for me, but I still very much enjoyed it. So of course, if you did enjoy it yourself, you do all the things. You can comment in the section. Words are difficult. You can comment in the comment section down below. You can give the video a like. You can subscribe to the channel, and you can even become a member. Nexus Hives, who is one of the largest supporters on this channel, has been on both Twitch and YouTube. He wants a small statue, so we will give him a small statue one way or another. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you are enjoying this. I'll see you in the next one.
These are nature's greatest creations. This is your park. This is Prehistoric Kingdom.